the beetle is impaled on the thorn before its head is torn off by the bird, which rips it apart to eat it. Now, if it's a poisonous bug, the bird will leave it out for a few days, and as it slowly dries up, the poison inside breaks down until the bird can eat it safely. During colder seasons, it might even save up an entire collection on the bush, while it keeps an eye out from nearby, ready to defend its territory from other birds so it can survive the long winter.
How do flies bite? Well, inside the mouth of every biting fly are 6 small blades. These two have sharp edges. They pierce the skin and slice it open like a pair of scissors. These 2 blades are covered in small teeth like wood files. They move up and down to tear up any blood vessels and start the blood flowing. This blade is hollow. It injects liquid into the wound, like a turkey baster, to make it keep bleeding. And finally, this last blade is kind of like a big straw that sucks the blood out of the wound for the fly to eat. And that's how flies
They
bite.
sliced off part of the ladybug's shell and glued on a clear plastic replacement. You see, when a ladybug flies, it lifts up the outer shells and snaps out tiny wings from underneath, giving them a quick way to escape predators. And when they land again, the wings get folded up. But the process is too fast for the human eye to see, so scientists made part of its shell transparent and set up a slow-motion camera. And for the first time ever, they saw the wings follow secret crease lines as the abdomen pulled them in, folding them back inside the shell.
You ever wondered how a baby is delivered during a C-section? Many people imagine that doctors make a single large cut and the baby comes out instantly, but the reality is much more fascinating. So what actually happens? I'll explain, but if you don't want this happening to your mother, tap like, hit subscribe, and share this now. Here's the truth. The surgeon begins by making a small incision in the lower abdomen. They carefully work through several layers of tissue, including the skin, fat, muscles, and protective membranes. Once they reach the uterus, they gently and skillfully lift the baby out. After the delivery, the medical team carefully closes each layer, restoring everything as neatly as possible. How many times did I
Took out your stomach and replaced it with a cow's. Could you eat and digest grass just like a cow? Well, your abdomen would swell to the size of a water heater, and that's because cow stomachs actually have 4 chambers. You would have to eat several pounds of grass a day, chewing it and swallowing it, then burping it back up to chew again. And all that grass sitting in one of your stomachs would create about 50 gallons of methane gas every day. So if everyone on the planet had their stomachs replaced, the sky would be flooded with methane gas as everyone farted and burped it out, trapping heat inside the planet. Ice would melt, causing seas to rise, and the weather would spiral out of control. The dog was sucked out of the garage and disappeared into the tornado. He was picked up and thrown by the storm, breaking both of his front legs. But this dog was determined to go back home and began crawling using only his working back legs. And 3 weeks after the storm, his owners found him sitting on their front porch, covered in cuts and dirt, but alive. He was rushed to the vet, and after weeks of recovery, he finally stood again. As your fist hits the bag, it sends a bar swinging inside, pushing a blade through a beam of light. But this blade has a slit in it, which briefly lets the light through as it passes. It measures how long it shined through the slit and calculates that into your score. So to hack it, call up Bork, your obese T-Rex. You see, the gap between its claws could act like the slit in the blade. So if it shoves its hand into the machine and whips it past the sensor as fast as possible, Bork will have the new high score. And for the first time ever, T-Rex arms are actually useful.
What happens if you put a mosquito under a microscope? Mosquitoes are one of the most annoying insects, especially when they keep buzzing around you at night and biting your skin. Most people just try to get rid of them as soon as they see one. But have you ever wondered what a mosquito actually looks like like up close? So this guy decided to find out. He caught a mosquito and placed it under a microscope. After setting everything up, he finally looked through the lens and he was shocked by what he saw. I'll show you, but first, if you think this cat is cute and adorable, like and subscribe. Look at this poor cat. He's sad because he thinks no one loves him. If you love this cat, leave a heart in the comments and share this with everyone you know so more people can show some love. Back to the video. When he finally looked at the mosquito under the microscope, this is what he saw.
Suddenly smells bad even though you brush every day, your toothpaste may not be the problem. There could be another reason most people overlook. So what's causing it? I'll show you. But first, if you're on the side of the angels, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And if not, then maybe you're cheering for the demon. Share this video to show your support for the angels and leave a heart in the comments if you're Team Angel. One common mistake is using the same toothbrush for too long. Over time, the bristles wear down and can harbor bacteria. An old toothbrush may not clean your teeth properly, which can contribute to bad breath, gum problems, and tooth
be the saddest job in America, because when someone wants to be buried in the ocean, you have to make sure their body actually reaches the seabed, because unlike a normal burial where bodies are decorated with layers of makeup and chemicals, for a sea burial, this process is strictly forbidden. These chemicals are highly toxic to marine life. You have to deep clean the body to remove all external toxins before doing anything else. You then have to wrap the body in a canvas shroud and attach 300 pounds of extra weight to the feet. This way the body will sink in an upright position, because otherwise the burial would look disrespectful. But if the family chooses a casket, you are legally required to drill at least 20 holes into the wood. This allows the air to escape instantly so the coffin doesn't float away and travel across the world. But once the burial is finally done, you should uplift the family by telling them a fact that the person's body will feed deep sea creatures for years.
Breaks a fang. The leftover stump dissolves, while a new one grows in right behind it. Then the venom tube that fed the old fang splits in two and starts feeding the new fang until the old fang loosens and drops out. Then the new one takes over as the working fang, while behind it, the next one is already forming, meaning the snake is never left. With collected all the grease from your hair, you'd have around 1 gram of oil per day. And after about 2 years, you'd have enough to fry a single corn dog. Now, deep frying a whole turkey would take about 27 years of collected hair grease. And if you kept gathering it for over 500 years, you'd have about 60 gallons, which is enough oil to deep fry an entire pig. If you completely stopped brushing your hair, as it grew over time, it would naturally tangle. Now, these wouldn't be simple tangles that are easily brushed out. Instead, they would turn into a densely knotted up clump of hair. Gradually, these clumps would intertwine with themselves until they eventually compacted into a dreadlock. Left unattended, these locks will continue to grow, with some even being over 10 feet long.
A boy was going to swim in the sea when he saw something strange hiding in the sand. At first, he thought it was just a small fish, but he had no idea a huge sea monster was hiding under the sand, waiting to attack someone. As he was digging, people who were around him came closer to see what was happening. The more sand he removed, the bigger the strange creature hiding there looked. And when he finally removed all the sand, everyone was completely shocked by what came out. I'll show you, but first, if you were ever a baby, hit like and subscribe. And if you love your mother who brought you into this world, share this video and drop a heart in the comments to show her you really care. Now look, it was actually just a small
de aves que probablemente nunca has visto. Número 1. Tejedor sociable. Esta ave africana construye un nido que parece toda una ciudad. Lo levantan en grupo y en él pueden vivir más de 400 aves. Estas enormes estructuras son resistentes y pese al calor del verano se mantienen frescas por dentro. Incluso los leopardos aprovechan su superficie mullida para descansar. Número 2. Ave sastrecilla. No construye su nido, lo cose. Con su pico que funciona como una aguja, perfora hojas y pasa una fibra vegetal como hilo. Así une los bordes y crea un pequeño refugio seguro, cerrado y perfectamente adaptado. Número 3. Ave jardinero. Construye nidos de exhibición que decora con objetos coloridos para atraer a su pareja. Hay unas 20 especies, cada una con estilo propio y gusto por ciertos colores como el azul. Para adornar sus obras usan bayas, flores e incluso tapas de botella, creando galerías de arte al aire libre. A veces llegan a robar decoraciones de otros nidos. Mientras tanto, acompañan su exhibición con cantos y danzas, ofreciendo un espectáculo único en ingenio y belleza.
shower, a tiny vacuum inside the drain sucks up every loose hair, then washes it, sanitizes it, and compresses it into little hair pellets. Over time, these pellets build up in a storage tank under your bathroom floor, and once the tank is full, your phone gets a notification. The app shows you your options: a wig, a winter hat, a pair of socks, and if you've been shedding enough, even a full sweater. After you choose, the system sends the pellets into a connected 3D printer where the hair is shredded, woven, and shaped into your new clothing. After just a few months, your whole family could be wearing you.
This is the shortest woman in the world.
Hello dear, I'm Jyoti.
Jyoti is as tall as a 2-year-old, even though she is 28 years old. She is 2 feet tall, so that means I am more than 3 times taller than her. Because she is short, sometimes she needs help to do simple things like climbing stairs or sitting in chairs. And while this may seem like a curse, Jyoti doesn't think so. Instead of looking at what she can't do, she focuses on what she can do.
Life is awesome.
Now she's an actress in many Hollywood shows, and she travels the world to meet other special people like her. Jyoti loves her body, she loves her life, and she wants you to love yours too.
Know you are safe. Know your body. Smile. Be confident.
Jyoti teaches us that sometimes our biggest challenges can become our greatest strengths. That's 1 minute.
Small balloon is placed under the scalp near the hairline, and over the next few weeks, doctors slowly fill it with liquid, causing the skin above to stretch and grow. This creates a visible bulge as the skin expands. Now, once there's enough extra skin, a second surgery removes the balloon, leaving a flap of stretched skin. The hair-covered scalp is then pulled down and carefully stitched in place. And over time, you'll have a shorter forehead with more hair. Most people use tweezers to pluck out unwanted hairs. And while this is an easy way to remove them, plucking actually rips out the entire root. This damages the follicle, which can cause the new hair to grow in at an angle. This can cause it to get trapped under the skin, resulting in irritation and ingrown hairs. And if you continue to repeatedly pluck like this, your follicles can become so damaged that it can no longer. Corsets used to be squeezed so tight back in the 19th century that some women actually had their internal organs shifted around. And this would sometimes cause them severe digestive issues. Some women also experienced breathing problems and would faint frequently. Wearing a tight corset from a young age often caused deformities in the rib cage, making them narrow and compressed as they aged. Stepped out onto the wire between the Twin Towers in 1974. This high wire artist had secretly rigged a cable between the towers, over 1,300 feet above the ground. For 45 minutes, he danced, knelt, and even laid down, all while the wind swayed the cable beneath him. Crowds were stunned and gathered below. Eventually, police arrived and demanded he come down. But he wasn't in a rush and finally surrendered after performing 8 passes. When you swallow a live fish, it wriggles down your throat, making it harder to go down. To make things worse, if the fish has sharp spines, they could scratch up your throat. But if you do manage to swallow it, the fish would end up in your stomach, where it wouldn't survive for long. Your stomach acid is extremely strong, and it would break down the fish quickly. However, live fish can carry parasites like tapeworms, which could survive the stomach acid and infect your digestive system. Dropped a basketball from the Empire State Building. It would only bounce back a few stories. But what if you wanted to bounce it all the way back to the top? Well, you would need a basketball 3 times the size of a hot air balloon. But since some energy is always lost, it would only bounce 80% of the way back up. To get it to reach the top, you would need a slingshot to add extra force. But if the angle was off even a little bit, it could launch sideways, crushing.
What happens if you throw a banana into lava? This guy decided to try it. First, he threw a small rock into the lava, and he was amazed because the rock instantly disappeared beneath the surface. Curious about what would happen next, he grabbed a much bigger rock and rolled it straight into the molten magma, watching it vanish into the heat. So he came up with a crazy idea. He grabbed a banana and tossed it into the lava. The moment the banana touched the surface, something completely unexpected happened. But first, who is your protector? If it's Jesus, like and subscribe immediately. And if darkness is your protector, just keep watching. Share this video so people know who protects you, and leave a heart emoji for it. Back to the video. As soon as the banana landed on the lava, it didn't instantly sink like the rocks. Instead, it rapidly blackened as the intense heat.
The skull has these tiny cracks all over that run along the surface. When you're in the wound, they form in between the skull's separate plates. They're filled with a stretchy tissue that holds the bone together but still lets them move a little. This allows for flexibility during birth and room for your brain to grow. As you get older, the cracks slowly harden and eventually fuse the bones. Beneath New York would be a miniature version of the city. Air shafts would stretch up to the surface, pulling in fresh air, and a power grid hidden under the streets would keep it running. This could be used for extra housing once the city above ran out of space. But blasting out a hole this huge would be almost impossible. And even if we could, New York City would soon collapse into it, meaning the idea never took off. Its claws onto the side and dangles over the edge. Then the next one crawls over it, clamping itself to the first ant. One by one, more ants do the same until they finally reach the other side. Then thousands more march across their backs. When the traffic slows down, the ants begin to let go and crawl away, letting the bridge get thinner and thinner until the connection breaks, leaving only a few behind.
Why does Velcro make that weird ripping sound? Most people think it's just the material ripping apart, but the real reason is much smaller. So what's actually making that sound? I'll show you. But first, if you're on the side of the angels, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And if not, then maybe you're cheering for the demon. Share this video to show your support for the angels, and leave a heart in the comments if you're Team Angel. Velcro is made of two parts, tiny hooks and tiny loops. When pressed together, the hooks grab onto the loops and hold them tightly. When you pull them apart, thousands of tiny hooks snap free from the loops, creating that familiar ripping sound.
Man built a weapon with 25 barrels, all designed to fire at the same time, in an attempt to assassinate the King of France in 1835. You see, he placed the homemade gun inside a window and packed it with more than 400 bullets. When the king passed by during a parade, the strange weapon exploded, sending bullets into the crowd and killing 18 people. So what's really happening? But first, if you don't want this to appear in your dreams, hit like, comment, wow, and watch this video until the end. Miraculously, King Louis Philippe survived the attack. The powerful recoil injured the attacker's arms, and he was quickly captured, sentenced, and executed for the failed assassination attempt. People believe a bullet would slice cleanly down the middle of an axe like in the movies. Most people think a perfectly aimed shot would split the bullet in half. But that's not totally true. You see, for that to happen, the bullet would need to hit an exact razor-thin spot. And bullets are usually made of softer metal than the axe itself, so they don't behave like solid blades. So what's really happening? If you don't want this to happen to you, hit like, subscribe, and share this fast. In real life, the bullet usually deforms or breaks apart on impact because real materials bend, crush, and fail under force.
If you could open up the Statue of Liberty, you'd find an intricate skeleton of iron and steel that supports the structure. This core is primarily designed for stability and strength, enabling the statue to withstand the harsh weather conditions. The stairs lead up to the crown to a tiny viewing area inside. And if it weren't closed off, these stairs actually lead all the way to the torch in the statue's hand.
Why is this cycle so hard to ride when a normal bicycle feels easy? This is a track cycle with no brakes, a fixed gear, and a very high gear ratio. That makes starting from a stop extremely difficult, and riders have to push with maximum effort just to get it moving. But once it gets rolling, it can easily reach speeds of 30 to 40 miles per hour. If you believe in God, hit like and never supposed to take a bath. In 2022 in Dejga, Iran, a man had refused to wash for over 60 years, believing bathing would make him sick. He left his home, slept in a shallow hole, ate roadkill, smoked animal dung from a pipe, and burned his hair over a fire instead of cutting it. For decades, he became known as the dirtiest man in the world. Then something unbelievable happened. But first, if you think my cat is super cute, give this video a like and subscribe. Now, my other kitty just came over to see who has liked and subscribed. If you still haven't done it, be careful, because it will keep staring at you until you do. So go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe and leave your favorite emoji in the comments so this angry kitty can be happy again. After decades without bathing, villagers convinced him to wash. Against all odds, he died shortly after.
Snorted the paint up his nose, held his breath, and blew air upward. This pushed the paint up through small tubes that connects the nose and the eyes until it reached his tear ducts. Then the paint came out of his eyes and dripped straight onto the canvas below. You see, as a child, he learned air and liquid could pass from his nose to his eye, and years later, he turned that trick into art. Eventually, he became a world-famous painter, selling each painting for thousands. But this can cause serious damage to your eyes, so you probably shouldn't try it.
This man saw strange footprints in the middle of the desert. His heart started racing. He knew it could be something rare, a sandfish worth millions of dollars. Without wasting a moment, he dropped to the ground and began digging fast. It felt like a real-life treasure hunt. But the deeper he dug, the more the sand kept falling back, covering everything again. Just when he was about to give up, his friend suddenly shouted, "Wait, dig here!" He rushed over and started digging again. Then he saw something strange hiding under the sand. What he found next left everyone speechless. But before I show you what it was, if you agree this cat is cute, like and subscribe. This poor cat is really suffering. He's in pain, and no one helps him because of disgust. If you are a good person, leave a sad emoji and a heart in the comments. Then 1 million angels will pray for your family. Share this video so the cat can be saved. When he dug a little deeper, he finally found the sandfish. That day, his life changed forever. He became a millionaire.
My queen ant just died. What you are looking at here is the head to one of my biggest queen ants. She passed away a couple days ago, and before I decided to remove her, the workers pretty much decapitated her and left her remains scattered around the nest. I also saw this one worker that was just running around holding the queen's head. Anyways, this is her head, her thorax, and her abdomen all in the palm of my hand. It really hurts to see this, as I've raised this colony for close to 2 years now. And yes, there is another queen that's still alive, but don't get your hopes up, as unfortunately she too will soon meet the same fate.
On the sour candy, letting thin saliva pool under your tongue. Then press your tongue hard against the roof of your mouth, right behind your front teeth. Next, push your lower jaw forward. You see, this squeezes the glands beneath your tongue, where saliva sits trapped in tiny ducts. And when the pressure finally breaks, a thin stream shoots out, giving you a perfectly aimed gleek across the room.
This parrot was trying to remove the warts from his mother's face, but he had no idea that warts could not simply be removed. So he turned to his wife parrot for help, because his mother looked sad and very uncomfortable. But what these two parrots did next is something nobody expected. But before that, if your mother is a wonderful person, hit like, tap subscribe, and leave a heart emoji for mom.
Needed groceries, but she couldn't leave her baby behind, so she did something that stunned everyone. First, she placed a sticker on her baby's hand and wrote her phone number on it. Just in case something happened, anyone could call her immediately. Then she grabbed a hook and clipped her pants firmly to the cart, making sure her baby stayed close. And before she started shopping, she slipped an AirTag into her shoe, cleverly hiding it like an accessory. She took a breath and began shopping. But when she turned around to check on her baby, her heart dropped. She couldn't find her, and what she saw next will shock you. But first, be honest. If money matters more than your mom, feel free to scroll. But if your mom means everything to you, take a second to like, subscribe, and share this. And if you love your mom with all your heart, drop a heart in the comments, because she turned around and her baby was right.
Flew into a parked airplane and started building a mud nest inside one of its speed sensors. Days later, the plane took off, but the blocked sensor made the aircraft think it was flying too fast. So the autopilot tried to correct it, lifting the nose higher and pulling back power. And as the nose kept rising, the aircraft lost lift, stalled in mid-air, and slammed into the ocean, killing everyone on board. Investigators found signs that one of the speed sensors had been blocked, but since it was never recovered from the ocean, the leading theory is pretty strange.
Hacer que un billete traspase una liga común y corriente sin dejar marca alguna. A ver, ¿cómo es posible que un billete pueda traspasar una liga sin romper en ningún momento? Ya la cago. Para esto lo que vamos a hacer es tomar un billete y doblarlo justo por la mitad, obviamente del lado largo, y ahora lo vamos a doblar nuevamente por la mitad, ¿ok? De esta manera vamos a conseguir esta especie de rectángulo. Ahora aquí viene la parte más importante y la que nadie tiene que saber, así que presta mucha atención. Lo único que vamos a hacer es, en este billete, doblar justo de esta manera, creando una especie de pestaña lo suficientemente grande para que la liga se pueda atorar ahí. Ahora sí entra la liga en acción y lo que vamos a hacer es tomar de esta manera con nuestro dedo índice y nuestro dedo pulgar y vamos a colocar justo por aquí. Pero ojo que aquí no acaba la cosa. Ya una vez que tú hayas estirado el billete y todos hayan sorprendido, lo que tienes que hacer es rápidamente...
People use inflatable pools instead of concrete ones. This guy only spent $200 instead of hundreds of thousands. And it does everything a real pool does and better. It's light enough that one person can move the entire thing on their own, and you can literally run inside the walls like a hamster wheel because of how flexible it is. But even with all that, the structure is still sturdy enough to hold thousands of gallons of water without collapsing. It's also far easier to clean than a permanent pool, and when summer's over, you just deflate it, fold it up, and store it anywhere you want. So instead of committing to a hole in your yard forever, you get the same thing for a few $100 and the ability to take it with you.
Legal mosquito snapper. Let's see if it works.
I have the pin, so let's try it out.
Step 1, fold the pin into an L shape.
Okay, so we bend the pin into an L shape?
Make sure you have this tight little hole.
And we have the tight little hole.
Step 2, bend the straight side about halfway down at a 90-degree angle.
And then we bend the straight side at a 90-degree angle. Oh, it looks perfect.
Step 3, load the snapper by looping this tip back and resting it on the wavy stem.
And now we loop it back on the wavy stem, just like that.
Now you're ready to attack.
Okay, before we try it out, did you know it's impossible to like and subscribe at the same time? Anyways, in 3, 2, 1. Ah! It literally left a mark on my hand.
You flew towards the Eiffel Tower at exactly 1,083 feet high. You could touch the top as you flew past. But if you tried again in the middle of summer and you flew at the exact same height, the pole would hit the underside of your plane and send you crashing to the ground. This is because the sun heats the iron, causing it to expand and making the tower grow by a few inches, meaning the exact same flight could be safe in winter, but
animals nature seems to have designed to suffer. And number 1 has a shocking survival problem you won't believe. Comment which one surprised you the most. But first, if you believe Jesus is your savior, make sure to like the video and subscribe. If not, then you believe your savior is Satan. Share this video to show your love for Jesus and leave a heart for him. Number 3, short-tailed shrew. This tiny predator has an extremely fast metabolism. It needs to eat constantly just to survive, making every day a race against starvation. Number 2, kiwi bird. A kiwi's egg can reach around 20% of the mother's body weight. Before laying it, the mother can struggle to move and eat normally. Number 1, wild ram. Its massive horns can become dangerously curved as they grow. In rare cases, abnormal horn growth can eventually injure the animal.
Dumped the bodies in a valley because there were too many, and a young leopard began eating them. Now eventually the sickness went away and the bodies stopped coming, but since the leopard had already tasted human flesh, it wanted more. It began to hunt people, Villagers shut themselves inside, but it clawed through the doors, killing people while leaving most other prey alone. Over the next 8 years, it ate over 100 people before it was finally killed.
Created a toy that would go on to change thousands of lives. In 2017, in Andorra, David Aguilar was born with an underdeveloped right arm because of a rare condition. At just 9 years old, he began using Lego to build a prosthetic arm, but his first design failed. However, David didn't give up. Years later, he decided to try again. Then something incredible happened. But wait, if you believe Jesus is your savior, make sure to like the video and subscribe. If not, then you believe your savior is Satan. Share this video to show your love for Jesus and leave a heart for him. His new Lego prosthetic actually worked. He eventually shared his designs for free, giving others the chance to benefit from his invention. What started as a childhood toy project unexpectedly became something that could help people in need.